Great. Awesome. 2 seconds live. Let's see, we get the first person in here. Let's see how long it takes. 2.
Yeah. Couldn't even
First
see
4
one.
people. 6.
Just blasted past it.
Nice. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to Business Brain. We are, if you've never been here before, because there's a lot of new people on my feed, I know. This is the Business Brain podcast, and we're going to record 2 episodes today. We're switching up and recording on Mondays for at least for a while, right?
For now, yeah,
for
sure.
Now. 2 week experiment, and then we're going to keep it. But this first episode we're going to record will come out on Wednesday, the 12th, and then after that we'll do a Friday episode that'll come out on the that would be the 14th.
Yeah,
we have a sponsor today.
We have Shopify as our sponsor.
Oh, I love Shopify.
Same.
So thank you to Shopify. If any Shopify users out there, they're fantastic and sponsored us for a long time, on and off.
Yes.
Which has been great.
Yeah, they keep renewing, which is good.
It's terrific. There's some interesting sponsors I've been seeing come across the I don't know which one, just come across my email.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Did we decide what we're going to give away for reviews? Did we get any reviews?
Yes.
We did.
We did.
That's exciting. That's awesome.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right. Right. I will put this in. I will put this in here too. So yeah, we will start the episode with that.
Okay, that's cool. That's great. And do we want to do the giveaway? Do we want to do another MacBook? Do you want to give away a Mac Mini? I think those things are pretty cool. But
I would.
Better.
The problem with giving somebody a Mac Mini is we're basically telling them you won, and now you have to buy a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So, yeah.
Okay, I think we should give away a MacBook.
I like it. Let's do it.
Super. We do an Air. They still or just
we can just say a MacBook, and then we get to decide where the money, how much money we have.
Fantastic. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're giving away a MacBook, and you can enter by posting a review. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we read your review on the air, you'll be entered to win.
Yes. So that means I need to set up a whole new
sorry about that.
Thing for that. No, but I'm just going to do it right now, assuming I can do it quickly, which I think I
think it's okay, because I think having this pre-roll discussion helps bring more people into the live stream.
Yeah. I agree.
Before we get started, because we already got 100 people.
Yeah.
And so I think, we keep chatting, and we have some, if you're just joining us, we got some interesting topics we're going to talk about. I wonder if I could get that plugged in. Never mind.
Okay. Business Brain contest participants. Here we go. I'm going to
for the 212 episode, we were talking about the hunt for dopamine, and then we're going to also discuss humility versus negative self-deprecation, which is one of my favorite topics. And then we're going to record a second episode that will air on the 15th on Friday, and it'll have our Friday if you like those play on words, our AI discussion on what we used AI for this week, so we can keep you in the loop. And then I also want to talk about helping your global talent if you're using people off, just anybody actually. Context.
Yeah.
I want to talk about context and how important it is. And I have a good example of it. And then if you notice, I'm not on my normal spot today. I'm up in the mountains. And so we we're on the Starlink, and I have about 94% coverage, which can sometimes lead to little glitches.
That's not enough.
No,
right.
It's not enough. It tells you right there on your app. It says you may experience when you're streaming and stuff, or like watching, or it's fine because it's buffered.
Yeah, because you get the buffers. Sure.
Yeah, and internet's great, but when you live stream, sometimes you get a little. So I may lock up here and there.
We got you,
but we're okay.
I'm ready to rock on this.
I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
I added Robzilla's thing and all that good stuff.
Take a sip of coffee.
Yeah. Is caffeine a regular thing for you?
It is.
Actually, wait, hold that thought. I'm going to ask that question.
Yep.
In the show, because it's kind of related. to our topic here.
Perfect.
All righty, here goes absolutely nothing. Business Brain, episode 622 for Wednesday, February 12th, National Lost Penny Day 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas, some of yours, some of ours, we crunch them, we dissect them, we use them to further tune our business brain so we can all keep living those charmed lives. Our sponsor for today's episode is Shopify.com/businessbrain, where you can go to sign up for your $1 per month trial period. And we have more details about that to share in a few minutes. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
Hey, I'm Shannon Jean, and I've come to you this week from the Sierra foothills, a little town called Wilseyville. We own a vacation rental on the I can't pronounce it, the McCalmany River.
Wow.
And had to get up here. The river rose a couple feet and needed to move some stuff out of the way before it rises anymore. We had a ton of rain out here, like trillions of gallons that went into the reservoirs and stuff. So doing that. And I'm excited to be
That's
here.
a good thing.
It's great. Everything's like 130, 140% of all the totals out here in California. As long as we can hang on to it, they have to release some to keep, I guess, flex space in the reservoirs in case, because it'll rain some more, get some more snow. So,
of course. Snow melt will happen too, right?
Yeah, that's our main way we manage water in California is as the snow melts, you trickle it into these reservoirs. So hopefully
makes sense.
It's
sense.
good. You were going to ask me some kind of coffee question.
But first I was going to tell everyone, I was going to thank Robzilla H for his Business Brain review. We mentioned last week that we wanted, we mentioned for a long time that we love to have your reviews. And last week we mentioned that we were going to do a contest for reviews. Robzilla was the first to come in after the contest was announced, although any reviews that we've read on the air this year, if we have, will count. But Robzilla says, don't get caught without this podcast, which I believe is a reference to another podcast I do. But this is definitely a review for us. He says, 5 stars. This show offers great tips for entrepreneurs and business owners looking to get the most out of their operations. From Robzilla H in the United States. Robzilla H, thank you for that. And please send us an email at feedback@businessbrain.show so that we know how to get in touch with you if and when you win what are we giving away, Shannon?
We're giving away a MacBook, Dave. Tell the people.
A MacBook Air. Or some kind of MacBook, I guess. Yes, we'll decide. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and how do you enter? You go to how do you get enter to win that MacBook?
Businessbrain.show/review. And that MacBook Air is your incentive. And that leads me into the question I want to ask you, Shannon, which might or might not be related to coffee. But as entrepreneurs, as business owners, simply as humans, there are tasks that need to be done that we don't necessarily get joy, at least not in the moment. The grunt work, right? So my question is, what tricks do you employ to keep yourself inspired to do that grunt work that's necessary to run your businesses? And I ask this of both of us, but I'll start.
That's a really good question. Yeah. I call this the hunt for dopamine.
Yeah,
because
man.
I have ADHD like crazy, and my brain is always popping, jumping over. And I realized, years and years and years ago that I'm constantly on the hunt for dopamine. I want this quick feedback. I want to feel this thing like, I've achieved this. I made this money. I shipped this many things. I did whatever. I found this deal. All that stuff pumps up. So for me, the trick, or one of the tricks that I've done, is to break up those grunt tasks. Those tasks are crucial. This consistent output of that kind of stuff, because if you can't do that, you're going to
fail.
You will fail. It doesn't matter how many great ideas.
I believe.
Yes.
I believe. So there's one trick is we have both done, and it may or may not be based on the truth, but it doesn't matter. We see it as true. Is the fear of failing.
Yeah,
not
it's huge.
Not the fear of failure. Like it's not the fear of failure. It's you articulated this last year very nicely. It is the fear of being a failure.
Absolutely, totally different. Like I fail all the time.
Totally different.
But I can't have this in my brain that I view myself as that, or I have a hard time even saying the word, or anyone else,
yes,
would view me like that. And so that's a trick. Yeah,
that's one of my tricks for getting the grunt work done. If I don't do the grunt work, I feel like a failure.
Yeah, that's good. And what I like to do is hang.
That's not dopamine inducing. Like that's not healthy
it's
inspiration.
Fear.
That's fear. That's bad.
That's okay. Right. Fear's a huge motivator. It's not.
It is. But if you're constantly riding the fear wave, you will burn out.
That you will. But so I like to hang short-term dopamine rewards at the end of those sessions that you have to grunt yourself out, and that can be anything you want. It depends on your unique situation. It could be getting up from my desk and going outside and throwing the ball for my dog, which I love doing, and being outside, getting out away from my desk and walking around. It could be, okay, once I get this done, I'm going to jump back on X and, doom scroll I'll set my alarm for 10 minutes and then and I answer replies and then I get back. And so that's probably the trick I use the most on a day-to-day basis is these little I gatekeep the stuff that gives me dopamine until I get those, that grunt work done, the stuff that you just have to do.
Yeah, it's the reward system. My guess is that we all, this isn't just me and Shannon, it's all of us have to do this. And you figured out your tricks too. So, of course, feedback@businessbrain.show. Tell us so we can all share in this. Yeah. But one of the dopamine fixes that I get, and I know you get this too, is checking off the task on the to-did list. Right? I did it. There it is. Yep. I'm not a failure. It's right there. I did the thing. Right? So there's definitely that. But I do the same, reward system thing. One of my favorite rewards is simply being able to do something I want to do. And it could be a work-related thing.
Sure.
Right? Or, like, I have these new light bulbs that are motion sensing that I got to put in my garage so that I don't have to remember to turn the switch off, because my garage in my studio here is on the other side of the property, and I don't like when I go to bed at night and I see the garage lights are still on.
Yeah,
mind you, when it's 20 degrees outside, I do not come over and turn them off. I just leave them on all night. It's fine. Yeah, sure. They don't bother the neighbors. It's okay. It's okay. But so I got these motion sensor lights, and as I came up here today, I needed to do the ad spots and everything, and I saw the box there, and I was like, oh, I could do those right now. It's like, nope. You got to go do your job first. Yeah, then the reward is you can hang up these lights, which are actually, that's also something I quote unquote need to do, but it's something I want to do. So I'm taking the dopamine reward that I will get from doing that and stacking it with this other. I like doing the show, but having to sit down early and like prep everything and go through the ads, it's grunt work. I don't dislike it. But it's grunt work. It's work. Right. Yep. So, we always say in the music world, playing gigs and stuff where we have to set up our own gear and all that, it is often said, I don't agree with this, but I totally agree with the sentiment that we're not paid to play the gig. We're paid to load in our, we're well-paid movers, right? We load our equipment in, then we play on it, then we pack it up and load it out because we love to play. But the reality is, we're getting paid for all of it, and I caution musicians to think about the fact that they're playing for free. It's like never do that. That is actually what people are paying for.
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah. So anyway,
I love it. I think it's identifying, even like you said. I think it's important to note the stuff related to work that gives you the dopamine hit. Those can be your rewards as well, right? So
yes, and then you stack it.
Yeah. So you go, okay, I have to do, like, I hate to do accounting, and I hate to look through like agreements and contracts and reports. And and probably because I'm not good at that stuff, but I know I have to do it. And then I love to create content. So I'm going to get through this first before I go out and create this content, or before I record a video of instructions or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you just it's lining it up, but you can't give yourself that reward until you get done with the stuff that has to be done.
No, I now I haven't thought of it this way, but I do now, and I will going forward, that I create a sandwich, like a club sandwich all day. So many layers of bread, right? If the bread are the rewards, then it's the healthy stuff in the middle that I sandwich it all. So it's like, okay, well, I'll do this thing it's grunt work, fine, and then I get to do the fun thing, and then I got to do a little more grunt work, and then I get to do the fun thing, and it's just stacking it up and sandwiching it, and you're good to go. But let us know. Yes. Feedback at businessbrain.show. We want to know what you do to get yourself successfully through all of that grunt work. All right, folks, you know that I use our sponsor Shopify to sell merch for my other businesses, my podcasts, and actually another web business that we have. And it's all flawless, I will add. But it got me thinking, why aren't we selling Business Brain merch yet? I mean, would you rock a Charmed Life hoodie, a Business Brain mug, a limited edition gold-plated time machine? Okay, maybe not that last one. But if we did, Shopify would make it easy. Shopify is the platform behind the most successful businesses out there. It's home to the #1 checkout on the planet. And Shop Pay boosts conversions by up to 50%, meaning more sales, less abandoned carts, and more ka-ching moments. You got that right. So here's the deal. Tell us what Business Brain merch you want. And first, upgrade your business and get the same checkout that I use with my other shows, and maybe for here too. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. All right, Shannon, you brought something up earlier today about the value of humility, but the risks associated with the negative versions of the negative incarnations of this. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, so I have this coaching business, and I'm helping people and entrepreneurs and stuff. And one thing I see it's really common over and over and over is that, we're taught to be humble and not to brag and all this kind of stuff. And I agree with that. It's great. I always say, don't talk about what you're going to do, talk about what you've done, but you still have to be not, a jerk about it.
Yes.
You need to be humble. But it's a fine line between not being willing to promote yourself at all, or talking about yourself in a negative way, or maybe this is a better way to phrase it, just kind of denigrating your accomplishments. And I find that I spend a lot of time kind of teasing out this expertise that all of us have, right? We're all experts at something.
Sure.
And teaching people that what their talent stack really is. And so I just wanted to talk about where is that line? Like, how do you be, I always joke, if you don't think you're a badass, no one else will, right? So you have to kind of think, and we've talked about this before, the language you use in your head and everything else, but it's a very common thing I see across all different levels of entrepreneurs, people just getting started that have kind of been, I don't know, smashed down by the corporate world a bit, or even entrepreneurs that have been doing stuff for a long time. It's like sometimes it's pulling teeth to get them to talk about their successes and how to talk about that in such a way that it helps create more success and helps add credibility. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Adding to your credibility stack, because I've done A, B, C, and D, and I've had this, that, and the other, that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
It totally does. On Monday, an episode of Gig Gab, the podcast that I do for musicians, is coming out with my guest co-host was this guy named Keenan, or is this guy named Keenan Duffy. Probably a name you don't know. Okay. But you've certainly seen Keenan's work. Keenan is a musician, has his own band, and I can't remember this. Slinky Vagabond, name of the band, got inspired early on by the sort of art rock punk scene and loved the fashion element of that, right? It was fans of the bands, and then, like the way David Bowie was and things like that, and became a fashion designer with phenomenal success.
Nice.
Later in his career, actually worked with David Bowie to promote a line of products, believe it or not, in Target, of all places.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And this was a deal that he had in place and then invited Bowie to be part of it. So it wasn't like he was using Bowie to like sell to Target or whatever, you know, which gave him leverage, which is not something most people have when they go into a meeting with David Bowie. And so they decided to do all this. I'm getting somewhere. And they put all, he came up with some ideas for the packaging, obviously wanted Bowie to approve it because it had Bowie's name on it. And it said, the David Bowie collection created by Keenan Duffy. And Bowie said to him, your name needs to be bigger on this. And he was like, well, but let's be clear. People don't know my name. People know your name, and that's who's going to buy it. And he said, right, people don't know your name because you're not making it big enough. Always make your name as big as you can. And it was an interesting thing because
it is.
He was following this same practice that you are, right? That you're talking about here with, this is, I'm humble. It's fine. I'm doing okay. I'm having some success. It's like, nope, it doesn't matter. And to take it from somebody like, David Jones, who created many personas, including David Bowie, for himself, always make your name as big as you can. Now, sometimes you can't be the biggest one.
No, that's right.
But you can be bigger than you were going to have it. Yep. And that's okay.
Yes. And an exercise that I have people do is sit down and write out or type up what your achievements are. What have you done? Where, are you, whether you have a job, you working for somebody, all the things that you've accomplished, it doesn't, okay, then go out and go, what have I accomplished in my personal life? Talk about your spouse or your kids, or talk about volunteer organizations, whatever you've done. Create that list of this. This is my talent stack. These are the achievements that I've done, and post it where you can see it, because you need to see, be reminded of this all the time. And I think as you get more comfortable seeing it in front of you and then talking about it, you can do it in such a way, because I think most people don't want to brag, right? I don't want to be a braggart. I don't want to sound like a jerk. But if you see those accomplishments and they become just very routine to you, it's easier to have them in a conversation when it's appropriate, when it adds to your credibility. And it's just a huge resource that I think people don't lean on enough, and I just see it all the time. It's like they'll say something that they're good at or whatever, and then they'll add this thing that just takes the air out of it at the end. A sentence says, "Well, that happened because yada yada yada." Like to your point. Oh, well, that's just because I connected with David Bowie. No. You created this idea. You asked him to come in. This whole thing would never have happened if it wasn't for you. So identify what those things are and put them front and center. Yeah.
I had an idea while you were talking here. It's like, right, I need to do this too, because I like everyone at whatever my degree is, I suffer from this same thing, and so I started typing this to put it in the show notes, and then thought, wait a minute, I can just copy and paste this, like I'm going to tell our listeners to do. Ask ChatGPT the following. I need to create a list of my talent stack. And this is pasted in the show notes. You don't need to listen to this. You don't need to write it down. I need to create a list of my talent stack, but I'm not good at bragging. Can you create this list for me that we can collaborate on so that I can just have it and see it? And Shannon, it put this thing together while we're talking here. Dave Hamilton's Talent Stack,
nice.
Business and Entrepreneurship. It's got a list. Founder and president of Backbeat Media. Successfully led Mac Observer to acquisition. Experienced in podcast at business strategist. Then podcasting and media. Host of Mac Geeka. Yada, yada. And I'm sure there are things that are incorrect here that I can then go and adjust. Tweak. But it's one of those, I have learned, and this is obviously a fairly recent revelation, that anytime I hit that, I want to create this, but I don't know where to start, I immediately go to ChatGPT now. That is my writer's block tool.
That's great. I love it.
And
really
then
good.
Even if it's awful, which to be fair, it is less and less awful every single time I use it. It gets better and better at creating this stuff. I had it create an email for me this morning that I was going to collaborate with it on, and looked at it. I was like, and I was actually already collaborating with one of my staff members, and we looked at it and we're like, "Yep, that's perfect.
That's it. That's awesome.
That's it."
Yeah. That's
but
good.
you can do it in the Canvas thing and ChatGPT, and so yeah, man.
Yeah, so make that list and look at it. Don't just bury it. Actually print it out or put it on your monitor if you don't have a printer, or get it in front of you some way, so that you can see it, because you deserve it. You deserve to feel good about all the things you've done, and it also helps you not dwell on the failures that we've all had. And, you just deserve it to be able to look at this thing and go, you know what? I have done this. Or maybe if you look at it and go, I need to do more. Maybe that's the push you need to go out and say, I need to add to my talent stack list, and these things I've been talking about doing, or things that I've been listening to Dave and Shannon talk about doing, I need to take some action and get some things done. And it could be the smallest thing that can push you over the edge. I always talk about that $1,000 brain switch, which is for people that want to make money or be a reseller, buy liquidation stuff. I focus on that all the time. How do you make your first, I got a message from, not that this is not the topic, but I think it's relevant. I was in Slack on Saturday morning, and one of my clients came in and said, I just made 2 sales on Poshmark. I made $500. I'm sitting in my pajamas and I'm drinking my coffee, and my day hasn't even started yet. And I was like, that's it. Here's this. I see the wheels turning in her head about, oh, wow, now I see it. Now I get it. Now I know why there's been all this work to get here, to create this, truly passive income once you get it up there.
Once you get it up and running, yeah.
Once you get up and running. So, print out that list, and if you need to share it with somebody, if you want somebody to help hold you accountable, share with us. Feedback@businessbrain.show. We'd love to, give you some tips and look at it. Either give you a kick in the butt or a big congratulations. Either way,
both.
whatever you need. Whatever you need. Yeah, both.
Whatever you need. Yeah. This is why Shannon Jean sells confidence, folks. Right there. That's the guy.
It's a big thing.
It is. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Thanks for sending in your reviews. You can join that contest. And just thanks for being a part of this thing that we all get to do together. It really makes a difference in our lives, and I have to believe it makes a difference in yours. But post that review so that we know that it does. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you on Friday. Keep living that charmed life. And we're out.
Cool.
Gosh, this talent stack thing here.
That's really cool. I got to go do that one more time.
It is inspiring.
I don't have another monitor, but I'm going to do it. Once I get back to my office later today.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, I got to do that more. I got to lean into it. I use it every day, and I used it last night, and we're going to talk about it so if you're on the live stream, we're going to record another episode. In our Friday show, we always talk about what AI tools and tricks that we use this week. That's our Friday AI segment. And then we're also talking about context, which is whether you use assistants, offshore talent, or anybody really getting across what the context of some of this stuff is. So, but right now we're in between shows. And what that means is Dave is pushing buttons, turning knobs, and getting that first episode ready for me to look at later today to get it ready to publish on Wednesday. We don't do a ton of post-production stuff. Our main, the thing we focus on, a system that we use is get it published as quick as we can. So we don't keep it and hold it and massage it and make it look prettier and better. It's more important just to get the content out there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It works out.
It works
We've
out great
gotten
for us.
pretty good at doing this,
so.
and we keep getting better, which is, that's the key.
That was what, episode 622? And we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. I
Next
see
week?
Hammer out there. Yeah, look at this guy. This guy on X. Next week.
Yeah.
And Hammer called us a beast.
Beast.
That's good. Beast. I love this guy. I've been following him on X for quite a while. I have no idea who he is.
Great.
But he runs a pressure washer business, and he hunts, and he does Christmas lights, and he kills it. And he creates great content. But I think he undersells himself, just like what we talked about. So
just like we all do.
Yes. Yep. So hopefully that episode helped him, and I think he should focus growing that account. I think there's a lot of opportunity for him out there. That's cool.
I'm almost done.
Cool. Yeah, good. I'm having a good time talking to the 390 people on the live stream. So
There they are.
it's great. Yeah, we started live streaming about 6 months ago. Eight.
Oh, I feel like it was longer than that, wasn't it?
Might have-
I don't know.
Yeah, it must have been last year sometime, right? It was last year.
Was last? Was it?
It
Is
was
that
last year
Yeah.
for sure.
All right.
I think
Okay.
it was the beginning of last year.
All right.
We started live streaming.
I believe you.
Yeah.
It seems
And I
like
think-
it's been longer than that, but I've been doing the live stream thing for a while
There you
with
go.
the other show, so it all kind of gets blurry for me.
Yeah.
yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Great. That's good.
Cool.
That's good. And I think, that part's done. All right, great.
Awesome.
Wait a
Very
minute.
good.
I have a better path of doing. I just realized.
You just save yourself time,
I did.
productivity. Nice.
Yep. I found a hack in my workflow here. All right,
Perfect.
I'm ready to rock.
That's great. Me too. I'm ready.
Time to do
go.
Friday AI.
Friday I.
I think that's the right way to pronounce it. That
Yeah,
when you said that
Friday-I.
earlier,
Yeah.
that rolled off the tongue nicely. So
Yeah.
I was like, yep, that seems to be it.
Cool. Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay.
You
Oh,
want
but
to do
I
Friday I first, or do you want to do the context thing? Let's go to the Friday I because we may
Friday
talk the
I
whole show about
100%.
that. Okay,
100%.
got it.
Yeah, because I have a thing to talk about
Okay,
too.
perfect. Me too.
With it, and I'll. Yep. All right.
I'm gonna look at ChatGPT and see what I asked it last night, so I can.
Oh yeah. I can't
There we
believe
go.
this talent stack that is just made. Like it's.
Yeah,
so
that's
great.
amazing, dude. I
Yep.
love that idea. I'm gonna
Okay.
make that part of my workflow for clients,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
right?
Oh yeah.
Because it's
Of
easier
course.
to get help and have somebody else tell you, oh, this is what you're good at. This is what I looked up and I found this and I did this and I.
Yes. Yeah. Is it
makes
what's
so
wrong?
much-
And
makes
and
so
the
much
best
sense, dude.
part, and your clients will love this, but I love it too. The best part about those kinds of things is I'm reading through it and it's like, hey, yeah, but you missed this other thing I did.
Yeah.
That's the moment, right? It's like, there you are. Okay.
Yeah.
You
It's a
do know
framework.
the
It's-
things you did. That's
Yeah,
it.
It's
Yep.
a framework for people to get thinking that way.
That's
to
it.
help push you to the next level.
The next level? That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's just a trick. you know,
It's
but
a total trick.
But you should.
All right,
like I
let's go.
said, Do it.
Here. Oh, I have this in the wrong spot. Okay, here goes nothing. Business Brain, episode 623 for Casual Friday, February 14th. Nope. International Winter Bike to Work Day. Seems cold here. Maybe for you,
very.
Shannon. 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas, we crunch them, we dissect them, we use them to tune our business brains to further our abilities to lead those charmed lives that we love. Speaking of charmed lives, Shopify.com/businessbrain is where you're going to go to sign up for your $1 per month trial period of my favorite sales engine, shopping cart, everything management. We'll talk about it in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And here in the Sierra foothills, getting away for a few days, I'm Shannon Jean. Happy
Nice.
Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday AI, Shannon.
Friday. Aye, that's right.
We've got some stuff to talk about.
We do. This is the segment where we talk about the ways we're using AI. And we actually had a little tidbit of it on the Wednesday show. So if you missed that one, go back because it's really good and powerful.
That one blew me away.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy how you just kind of stumble across this. So I'll start.
Go.
Last night. I was working on some, I'm constantly looking at auctions and liquidations and stuff to buy, to resell.
That's your thing.
That's my thing. And, to give to somebody else to buy, whatever it is, talk about it, educate people. So I came across this pretty large tool auction, like cordless tools, industrial tools. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I don't normally buy that stuff, but I was curious. But it had this big PDF, which was the manifest, which is great. And it had all these photos and everything. And I was like, man, this is crazy. So, of course, I was like, hey, I need to use my AI assistant here. So I just uploaded the PDF. And I said, hey, help me analyze this PDF. This is what I need to know. How many items are on at the most basic thing, how many items are on the list? And then give me a breakdown on all the different categories of tools. Like, hey, so it instantly told me, okay, there's 230 items on this list. And 20% of them are cordless, tools. Of that list, there's this, all this amazing breakdown of data that would have just taken me a long time to dig in. And then I said, this is where it really gets powerful. I said, I need you to give me an estimated value of the products listed on this PDF. 229 different tools, power tools, hand tools, very eclectic. It would have taken me hours. And I've done this. I've done that where I've searched, cut and paste. Okay, that's worth $500. Okay, that's worth $300. So you can get what I'm looking for is what I can pay. On these deals, you work them backwards, right? You say, okay, here is what they sell for. What can I pay? You make all your money in the
arbitrage.
Arbitrage. Yes. You make all your money on the buy side. You're not speculating.
This is interesting. Of course, as you say it, it's obvious. You don't think about, all right, well, how much can I mark these up? It's what are they worth? What's the realistic
I can't
value?
Mark it up. I don't get to decide the value.
Right.
The market decides.
Has already decided.
Yeah, it's it. So you look at this stuff and say, okay, if it's worth 10 grand, what can I pay shipping this, that, and the other thing? What can I sell it for? All that kind of stuff. So ChatGPT went out. It took a little longer this time because it was really digging.
Good.
I could see the steam coming out of my computer.
Yeah.
And it came back and said, based on what these are, and the average sale prices that I found, yada, 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 it's worth $12,000. And I was like, great. Okay. So I can then, like I said, I can go backwards. And now the bid on that is $4,000. And I'm like, okay, well, there's some money in here, and so what's the maximum I would want to pay to deal with this product and all stuff. So it's just math, but the way it helped me break down, I did this while I was watching the Super Bowl. I sit in my lap because of course if you're listening to this show, understand the importance of keeping your laptop on your lap at all times when you're sitting on the couch, because it is the keys to the kingdom, because there's so many things you will discover when you have downtime and just sitting there, and you can still have a beer and relax, but have that laptop in front of you, or your notebook or whatever you got. You can use your phone if you want, but I find the laptop helps focus you a little bit more. So that's my Friday AI story. What about you, Dave? What do you got?
I was talking to my son this weekend and about AI, and he asked ChatGPT on his phone to do something. I forget what it was.
Okay,
and it gave him the answer, and then it said at the bottom, "In my opinion," and gave him a summary. And I was like, "Wow, that's not something I've seen before." He says, "Oh, yes. I've instructed it to do this." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, you go to settings, personalization. You can do this on the web or on your phone in the ChatGPT app. So you go to settings, personalization, customize ChatGPT. And in that customization setting, you can tell it all kinds of things. So you go to settings, personalization, and you go to custom instructions.
Okay.
And the instructions that he gave I think were It asks, what traits should ChatGPT have? Oh. And he said, respond with a precise, concise, and accurate tone. Focus on delivering clear and direct answers. This will all be pasted in the show notes, by the way.
Thank goodness.
Clear and direct answers while avoiding unnecessary elaboration or repetition. Use structured formats such as bullet points, numbered lists, or short paragraphs where appropriate. Prioritize clarity and relevance, ensuring responses stay on topic and align with the query's intent. Tailor the explanation to be universally understandable, avoiding excessive jargon unless explicitly requested. And then, be opinionated and prepared to support your opinions. Always state and make clear what statements are opinion and not objective fact.
Oh, that's cool.
I know.
Yeah, I want that. I want
that.
That
it's there. Really it's in the show notes. You're good to go. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm definitely doing that. That's great.
Yeah.
And the thing I love, like you mentioned it earlier, actually, I think it was in the last episode, is that it's such a great starting point, and it helps create structure around some kind of either, a concept or a framework you're working on, and it allows you to. It's not doing the work for you, but it helps you get your thoughts together.
It's a collaborator.
It's a collaborator. Yeah. And
that's how I think of it.
Yeah. And I highly, rarely do I cut and paste, right? I'm always like, okay, yeah, that's some good, I can do that. Now I got to massage this and I want to do this. Cause I want it to have, especially if you're creating content, I want it to have my voice, right?
Yes.
And now you can upload your content samples, so it will have your voice, pretty good.
That email that I talked about in the last episode, that it just kind of did it without me even being able to tweak it, was actually the second thing. I wrote the email, but knew I didn't like.
I got it.
I knew it needed to be cleaned up. Which is normally how I operate, right? I just kind of think, and it's like, oh, this is what I want to say. Yeah, but I don't know. How do we clean this up? So I gave it to ChatGPT, and it cleaned it up. But I do that so often that it knows my tone now.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah,
and that's
right. That's great.
This would not have happened the first time I did it. But this is, years into this. It knows my tone. It was like, yeah, that's it. I'm good to go. So,
that's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
it's pretty good.
Such a great tool. Yep.
All right, folks, you know that I use our sponsor Shopify to sell merch for my other businesses, my podcasts, and actually another web business that we have. And it's all flawless, I will add. But it got me thinking, why aren't we selling Business Brain merch yet? I mean, would you rock a Charmed Life hoodie, a Business Brain mug, a limited edition gold-plated time machine? Okay, maybe not that last one. But if we did, Shopify would make it easy. Shopify is the platform behind the most successful businesses out there. It's home to the #1 checkout on the planet. And Shop Pay boosts conversions by up to 50%, meaning more sales, less abandoned carts, and more ka-ching moments. You got that right. So here's the deal. Tell us what Business Brain merch you want. And first, upgrade your business and get the same checkout that I use with my other shows, and maybe for here too. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode.
All right. I have a problem.
Okay.
And I need some
business therapy.
Yes, to figure it out. So I have some great assistants. It's kind of irrelevant where they live, but let's say they don't live in the United States. So it is relevant to this conversation.
That's super relevant.
It is relevant to this conversation. And I constantly struggle to give enough context on related to the work I want them to do. And I believe that this, I know I'm not the only one that has this problem.
No. I know exactly what you're talking about. I have some tricks I've learned.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I need help with, because what I find is they're amazing, super talented, super smart, and I love working with these folks, and but if I just let them run with something, if I give them the initial, hey, this is what I want, this is what we need to do, I want it, build this, do this, I'm not disappointed in the effort. It's like they put a lot of effort into it, but they're completely missed the mark on the context of it.
Yep.
And I don't want to go into the actual specifics because it's not relevant to the conversation, but it's just like, well, I will mention, so I do a lot of stuff about Costco, right? Because I buy store returns and all this kind of stuff. Sure. And I'm getting them, here, look at all the stuff I've written. I've created massive amounts of content around this topic, right? Because it's so popular, and it's changed my life in buying and selling their stuff. And this team spent like a week on this thing I wanted to work on, and it was completely wrong.
Yep.
Because I did not give them enough context, and I don't think they understood what I was talking about in those posts, in this blog posts and articles that I've written. How do I, without being a micromanager, up in their grill every minute, how do I get that context across to them in, how do I fix this problem, Dave?
So I've been dealing with this for decades. It's my first experience with remote workers, offshore workers, non-U.S. contractors was a team I still work with today.
Okay.
They were in Siberia. They are no longer there because they don't want to have to live in that country right now.
Escaped.
They escaped, essentially. Yeah.
But
for a long time, I mean, I call them the Russians. Yeah. And it was this team of Russian programmers in Siberia, really talented guys, great guys, have become friends of mine.
Nice, yeah.
Yep. But so I would instruct them do this thing, and they were a team that was initially hired by somebody else, somebody we actually had to sue, but that's a whole other story. We never sued the Russians. Yeah, that would have gone sideways real fast. But I found the same thing that you're describing here. And so, and I was frustrated by it. And then what I found was, and I don't know how or what inspired me to shift my thinking on this, was what really helped me was when I started to learn their cultural norms. Okay.
Okay.
And then I could understand, oh, I see. I used to joke, and it might not be too big of a stretch. But I used to joke, I don't think that there is a Russian phrase for quality control. And what I meant was that they would just write something. They were about 12 hours off from me, right? And their schedule was such that they worked from about their time, 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. So 2 a.m. my time, maybe 1 a.m. my time to 1 p.m. my time. So the path was I would stay up late, which I do anyway. I would give them instructions from like 1 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Yep.
Then I'd go to sleep while they worked. And then I'd wake up at like 9 a.m. and see what they did, and then we had a couple hours to like go back and forth on it. Invariably, especially in the start, I would give them the instructions. I would go to sleep and I'd be blissfully asleep while they were rolling out completely broken versions of this software live in production.
Nice.
And yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'd wake up and I'd be like, what the,
Yeah, what'd you do?
What'd you do? We got to fix this. This is now instead of this being a nice collaborative thing, this is an emergency. And it was the third or fourth time that this happened that I realized, I need to tell them in the 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. slot, here's what I'd like you to do, and then get it ready on a test server for me to test at 10 a.m. when I am back here ready to rock. And giving them those instructions was what they needed, right? That was to solve that one problem. But it never dawned on me here in the U.S., that is atypical. You would not just roll it live to production. Every programmer understands, but they didn't. And until I asked them
explicit, more explicit instructions.
But it not explicit about everything. Like I didn't tell them, and make sure to use Java to do this and use version 7, because then they'd be like, dude, like why are you treating us like this? You know. So
that's my concern. Is I don't want to. I don't want to treat them like, they don't know.
Like they're children.
Yeah, they're not. They're very talented
people. So you have
people.
to figure out, and that's where I say learn their cultural norms so that you are like surgically choosing which things to nitpick and micromanage and then which things to just completely leave alone. And once you learn that, I've never had this conversation with these guys, but they've never felt belittled by me as far as I can tell and all that stuff.
Sure.
But and normally it's like, you get this. Yeah, I understand. Okay, great. Put it on a test survey. It's like, okay. But it's only those very specific things. But I will say that when it comes to writing content, when you are contracting with someone for whom English is not their first language, despite how much practice they might have had it, and B, if they are writing essentially marketing content, which is what you're talking about here in some way, shape, or form, like it's got to be something captivating for the reader. If that reader is an American, if your target audience is American, I have found that while it seems more expensive to hire an American to do it, it's not in the end, because they have all of this knowledge that you would just have to dump on these people.
Yeah, that's right.
You're probably better off having ChatGPT write that content, telling it to target it towards an American English-speaking audience, than having someone in the Philippines who speaks great English write it. They've never lived here. They don't necessarily understand the culture, unless they've been doing this for decades, in which case they probably understand that their value is worth the same as an American, and then you're not saving any money.
And to clarify, so my situation, they're taking my content and creating other things with it. So I learned right away. I'm like, no, I don't want I don't want you to write content. I've got that part figured out, but I need help structuring all the content that I have created.
There you go.
And then
so you're already doing this.
Yeah. And I would say too, and I'm about 8 months into this project, and it's gotten much better. I found that one of the other, I guess, contextual issues that I deal with is teaching them that it's okay to hold me accountable as well. That's really important.
Let's do an episode on teaching people whose checks you sign. But people whose checks you sign. That's
how to hold you accountable. Yeah.
How to do that in reverse.
Next week.
I fail at that.
There's a lot to unpack because.
Yeah, that's next week's
I'm not going to go into it. We're going to go. No. Come back on. We'll live stream on Monday, but go ahead.
But it'll be February 19th, which is our 10-year anniversary. So we will
super 10-year anniversary party.
Yes,
and come back, and we're going to talk about how to create accountability partners out of people you pay.
That's it. Yeah, because it's hard.
It is hard.
And I understand why it's hard.
Yes, it is. Of course.
But that doesn't mean we don't need it.
That's right.
So,
and in the meantime, you can get entered to win a MacBook. Go to businessbrain.show/review and leave us a review of the show. Let us know what you think, and then we'll come back. We'll read it on the air and get you entered to win this fancy laptop so you can keep it on your lap.
Woohoo! That's right. That's it. Yeah, we'll give you the thing that goes on your lap. Businessbrain.show/review. Feedback at businessbrain.show. Shopify.com/businessbrain. Keep living that charmed life. Have a great weekend. And we're out.
Cool. That's good. Did I glitch at all in the
once for like it literally in the middle of a word, and by the end of the word you were back in business.
It's gotten better. I think they've put more satellites up or something, because a year ago was when I bought this place. It was tough.
We would have we had
chunks.
edits to do. Yes.
Because I was thinking there are guys that will mount your Starlink in like these 300-foot trees. It's a whole
yeah,
business. It's
of
it's
course
pretty
it
interesting.
is.
So I was looking at that going, well, maybe I have to get one of these guys to
Right.
climb up. But I think I might be okay now.
I think you might be all right. Yeah.
Awesome.
Certainly
Well,
today, a
certainly
sample
today.
size of an hour. Yep.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad.
That's not
I've
bad.
Talking the whole time. So awesome. If you're on the live stream, we're going to end this. And thank you for joining us. The first episode we recorded about an hour ago will come out Wednesday the 12th. And the second episode we just recorded will push out on Friday the 14th and every podcast app, basically. And we appreciate you joining us here today.
Thanks,
See you
folks.
later.
We'll see you next
Take
week.
care. Have a great week.